Welcome back. I'm Ahab.
And I'm Jezebel.
Wait, no. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Joy.
And this is the McMaster's Chronicles.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking today about the following week after we left. I have to say that it was just very emotional time because there was such a big deal. But it was very interesting what happened in that following week specifically and weeks. Because after that Sunday night, I left after speaking with the pastors, and they started reaching out to me the next day, texting me things, trying to say I should come back, or that the enemy is trying to take me away, or just different things like that. And I just told them I wasn't ready to talk at the moment. So one of them just completely stopped, and the other just started writing me like little jokes throughout the week, trying to, I guess, keep conversation going. I don't know. But what was weird, I actually saw a third pastor, a third pastor that Friday at work, and he gave me a big hug and was like, "We're praying for you," and he was all like happy and like kind of it seemed really fake because it wasn't
The
really
love
real.
bombing.
Yeah, but what was interesting is that whole first week, especially. It's like they were really coming after me, trying to get me to come back, trying to get me to be back with them. But in that, not a single person reached out to you. Not a single person. There's more women in that church probably than men, and nobody reached out to you. No person said, "Are you doing okay? What's going on? I'm praying for you." Nothing. It's like they automatically went to this judgment that she was the problem and she needed to be cast down, and I needed to stand up and not be Ahab, and she cast down Jezebel and all that. And you can talk a little bit more about what
Yeah,
they
so
said specifically.
specifically that Wednesday, um, in the message, it was August 14th, 2024. And in that message, specific verbiage was used that we believe was pertaining to us. Specifically, Ahab may be watching
Sneaking
and
it in.
sneaking it in as if he's not allowed to do his own thing. And I would not permit him to watch what he wants to watch. Sneaking it in, and how Ahab needs to throw down Jezebel, aka me, and how he will face horrible circumstances if he doesn't, and how
There'll be so much misery
so much
in my life.
misery and never walking with God. Specific word is never walking with the Holy Spirit, but he'll never be walking with God if he doesn't overthrow me. And
The funny thing in it was that he was like, that I need to do it in like loving the Lord and even loving Jezebel.
even
like the bottom of
your
the
wife,
bottom.
maybe that's good.
Yeah.
You know,
Just like
just a bonus. Just bonus love your wife. Just bonus.
Found it so fascinating how much it really spoke volumes to me about how they all targeted me afterwards and didn't even want to speak to you, because there was just like so many times throughout the following like weeks that they just wanted to talk to me. They kept trying to get me to come back. And I believe that is because I provided so much of the money, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, the whole time I was very involved, very close to them, very like making things happen. And so I think that's why they,
Financially, you made things happen
right.
because you donated everything. And then if they needed something done at their house, you would do it. If they
Yes.
needed something paid, you would do it. If they needed help with their car, you would do it. And you did literally everything for them.
Right.
Their yard.
That week, um, so that, I mean, that message we know was pretty clearly towards, it was really like a message not even for you. It was like, if you listen to the message, it's like they're basically like, get rid of Jezebel and you come back.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically what it
So,
was.
come to find out later on that the wife of one of the lead pastors was praying for our divorce,
Yep.
which was actually not surprising.
Not surprising, no.
Because we already knew.
It just is so, it speaks so much to like the hypocrisy in that place, because they would say things, they would speak so strongly against divorce if somebody got divorced, and yet they're gonna pray for divorce. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes no
Because the real
sense.
issue is, what can they get from the individual? They knew they could not get anything from me.
Right.
And
So then
that's
they
why
came
they
after me.
didn't go after me.
But it's just like what I remember. I had a specific conversation with somebody very close to me personally, who's still in the church, about 2 to 3 weeks afterward. Probably no, it's probably about a month afterwards, and telling this to him, I'm like, look at this, like, not as just on a human level, like you were friends with people in that church for years, your whole life, and people just started blocking you on Facebook, unfriending you, like nobody spoke to you at all. I just find that like telling so much, because like they just, nobody wanted you. And then whenever they wanted to speak to me personally, they're like, do not let Joy come. We found that out. They do not want you
Yeah,
involved.
they didn't want me there.
They just,
And then,
I
like,
don't know what.
yeah, because when you spoke with your
Yeah.
family,
They did not want you there.
the lead pastor's wife specifically said, make sure Joy is not there.
Yeah.
But there's lots of reasons for that. I am there, you know, they probably knew that it wouldn't work. They probably knew that if they were to talk to me, it wouldn't, like, I would not change my mind. So that's likely some of it. They also have a concept that I was literally controlling Jonathan, which I was not controlling Jonathan. I literally was waiting until Jonathan was ready. Like, the whole time I was waiting until Jonathan was ready to leave. And I was supporting him. And I know that can be highly controversial, because even throughout our marriage and the time in that place, I was also pointing things out to Jonathan throughout that time. And if they would find out that I was doing that, then I would get in trouble. And I would be the bad person. So I learned to do it in a really discreet way, in a way that was not fully confrontational, but was a steady, like, I was just like a steady voice of opposition to, like, all the abuses that were occurring, and there were many.
And what's
yeah.
very interesting, well, something that helped me in that is that, like, when you did that, I didn't just like shut you down and tell you, no, you can't do this. Don't talk to me about these things. I'd seen other family members in my life do that, and it's like, if anybody said, not even said anything against a pastor in there, but just like questioned it, then it was like, that was like
It's the Gestapo.
horrible.
The Gestapo will get you.
It's like, yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
horrible sin. Like, you don't do that.
No,
But like that's
for
not
real.
biblical whatsoever.
And even when I was doing it, I was afraid. Like, I was like, does this make me a horrible person? Because I absolutely hate what's going on right now. And that must mean something's wrong with me. But I just kept doing it. Like, and I think I had a place, like, I got to a place where even though I had a lot of self-doubt and a lot of that came from the gaslighting and the abuse that I was undergoing in there, I still knew what was true. And I just kept saying it. And I just kept telling Jonathan, that's not right. Something's not right there. And I just kept telling him. And so they didn't like me because of that. And they also, going back to what you were saying about how people unfollowed me, I know how it is in there. And I know that some people may have done it because they did get upset with me. But some people probably did it because they were told they needed to, or that I was a risk to their spiritual status, like their spiritual well-being. And that I do understand, because I've definitely been told that whenever I was in there, I was told I couldn't talk to people. I was told that I couldn't be friends with people. I was told, on social media, I couldn't be friends with
We
certain
couldn't even look at what
we
people's
couldn't
lives
even
are.
look at people who had left on social media. And so that I do understand. And that I don't think is really necessarily in your control, because you're literally told in the time where they come and they say those things to you, you're told kind of like horrible things. Either you're told horrible things about the other person, or you're blamed. So like, why are you wanting to look at that? That means that you're a Jezebel. That means that you want to agree with them. That means there's something wrong with you and your faith walk and all of that stuff. And so that I totally get, and I harbor no ill will toward anyone, and I totally understand. And I also understand for the ones that do it kind of automatically, that probably you're doing it automatically because you've been told to do it with other people, and you want to
You
get
know you
ahead of the
have to.
game before you get in trouble. And that I also understand as well. And so I understand that. The issue we have is with the perpetual abuse that is occurring in the organization by its leaders. That is the issue that we
And
have.
you can't just come out and just say, like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong to somebody that is living in it. You have to, what we want to do is just kind of show what happened in our lives,
Yeah.
to hopefully relate to, for you to see what might be happening in your life. Or if you have a friend in a situation like this, or you're dating somebody in a situation like this, or whatever it is, that you can kind of just keep an eye out, or be able to tell them little things without trying to do like a whole world shift. Because for me, it was like my entire identity was wrapped up in this church. Like everything about who I was, my purpose, just my life. And I remember before I left, the pastor, the church would really make a thing that everybody that left would like be anti the congregation, anti the church. And so, but he would use, and so anybody that was in there, so like me being in there, I thought everybody that had left were these terrible people that were doing horrible things and trying to destroy everything. And so he used that against me to try to keep me from speaking the truth of what actually was going on.
Yeah, so
To try
that
to scare
Wednesday,
me into it.
the Wednesday, August 7th, was when he said to you, you're going to be the leader of the anti-Gibbet movement. And so
Yeah.
that really stopped you for a super long time from actually speaking about it.
Yeah,
It was
or
like
speaking to anybody that
they
had
were
left.
doing like reverse psychology on you.
Right.
Because they didn't want you to do anything. They
But
wanted
it's
you
really
isolated.
like, what's
Yeah.
crazy is that it's just like, I just want to speak the truth about what happened.
Yeah.
Not like, I care about everybody in there, specifically the ones that are being abused, and like want to get people out, but you just have to say
Yeah.
one thing at a time,
Yeah. So in that week, we may have mentioned this earlier, but like he just said, he wasn't going to talk to people because he was it was so raw to him and so new to him. He felt scared to talk with other people out here because he still had that kind of concept of like, well, they're doing bad things and I don't want to do bad things with them.
Yeah. And that's something that would always be said about anybody that left. Like when somebody left, what was said about them was that they were miserable. And that's what the pastor preached about that Wednesday night, that they're miserable, that they're always like struggling. Their lives are going to go down. They might have a little bit of a good time.
I do have an interjection here. When you come to terms with the abuse that you've endured in this place, you are going to have some rough days. That does not mean that they are right and that you have a miserable life. It does mean that you have healing that needs to take place, but that does not mean that. So I was just small interjection.
But the whole idea of just like, you're going to be so miserable and unsettled and stuff, no. Like, I'm not, ever since we left, even that first week, like I've never had this like, I've never had what they said was going to come. There's like never been this sense of like, oh, they're just like, I don't even know really what they was just like, the people that left were wrong and would feel bad their whole life. But there's really such a freedom to be away from that oppressive nature that is just so much
There's
better.
Also a lot to unpack when you leave the oppression.
So much.
And so there can be rough days.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
That is normal.
I mean, but you're now living a normal human life where you can have emotions. And,
because there's a lot of emotional control in there where you're not allowed to feel angry. You're not allowed to feel sad. You're not allowed to grieve.
You can't think about somebody.
You can't think about somebody that you miss.
Yeah.
You can't. It's emotional control.
And if you grieve, we'll probably talk about this in a later video, but you have 2 days.
2 days to grieve.
To grieve for loved ones.
Yeah, 2 days.
That's it.
Move on.
So.
But
I want to get, there's so much to like unpack here of like what we've been through. And like this Jezebel, Ahab thing is just kind of like one of the topics. But there's just like so many things like the financial abuse, more spiritual abuse, and emotional abuse. I think the emotional abuse was used on you a lot. Like I remember you saying that one of the pastors said you couldn't think about your brother because he was not in the church anymore. And it's like you just can't have normal affection and feeling for people. But
I think that something that is pretty critical in the whole Ahab Jezebel thing that they used very specifically in this in the week following us leaving was that for him it's similar to what happened that night that we left on the 11th, where it's the disparaging of the wife. So it's like saying, see, look, your wife is doing this horrible thing, and it's your job to correct your wife. It's your job to fix this. And if you don't fix it, your whole weight of your spiritual walk with God on the line. I mean, it's like someone putting a gun to your head and being like, you got to do it now. Like, you got to do it now. And so it definitely brought up a wound. Like, he watched it, not that night, but you watched it like in days following and you came home.
I didn't even listen to the whole thing, but actually I think I did.
And you were like, he talked about Jezebel, and I was like, yes, you know, like, and like he knew exactly because I was telling him how that's what they do. They talk about Jezebel, and that's how they get the women in line. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are being bad to their husbands. It just means that they are maybe speaking out.
Because the Bible even talks about the woman winning the heart of the husband back through their words. How is that gonna happen if you get shut down every single time? If you can't even speak? Like that can't happen. But that's really how they treat women in there. Yeah. We have evidence and people that have said that that's how it's happened. So it's not really a question, and it's I didn't do that with you, and they didn't like that. So,
But
well,
I think it's important to know that if you know that something is wrong and you say that this isn't right, something doesn't feel right here, that is not wrong to do. That is not a wrong feeling. That is actually very natural. And you may want to suppress that feeling because you're worried that you would get in trouble. And you can be strategic and not express those feelings so that you don't get in trouble. And
so you need to, I would say, find somebody that you can talk, somebody
find
safe,
someone.
whether probably not in that place, but somebody that you can talk to about it.
Yeah.
Because
You
you'll realize
you need to get the emotion out. But just know that just because you're feeling that something's not right doesn't mean that you're automatically a Jezebel. Doesn't mean that the enemy is going against you or coming against you, or that your mind is being controlled, or that you're like, listen, I've heard all this stuff. I've heard that I was a demon possessed. I'm not kidding. When I want to remember when that was, I think it's really any time I was upset about what's going on.
Well, the thing that was so bad about it in there is that they would use scripture to beat you down.
Oh yeah.
That was what was so bad is
it's like the whole thing,
was,
you know?
So.
But point is I didn't make Jonathan do anything that he he had to make that decision. I could not make that decision for him. I respected his decision, and definitely I was for it. So I did not want to be there anymore, and that really came to a head when my very personhood was violated. But
You can go back and watch.
Go back and watch that. But so I was definitely ready to go, but I was definitely, he made that decision, and I definitely helped him, but also we are married, and that's okay. So
I think, yeah,
that's just what we have to say. You still weren't talking with people yet. You're still nervous to talk to people. So that whole week, because I knew they were getting close to you, I was feeling really nervous that you were gonna go back because they were love bombing you.
But after the first week, after we didn't go back that Wednesday or the next Sunday, then everything stopped. So it was over at that point. But
they were hooking you, they were love bombing you, they were talking to you secretively in the message and saying you need to throw me down. They were trying everything, man. They were trying everything, and I was terrified because I respected what you wanted, so I did not talk to anyone because that's not what you wanted to do.
Yeah, but then we eventually did.
We did, but because that's not what you wanted, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so I was waiting, and I was feeling lonely and scared and like you were going to go back. But you didn't.
Y'all really should go back and watch some more of our videos. We'll post some links in the here for you in the description. But you can see kind of what she was referencing, and definitely appreciate everybody who subscribed. And we've definitely got a lot more. There's so much. There's a lifetime of things, but we just hope that these things will help you, or you see if you're in something like this, or someone that you love is in something like this, see the signs and be able to get out. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon.